should you diversify with YMAX funds? And what about, just what about going heavier on YMAX than anything else in the YMAX family? Let's talk about it. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scout. All right. So, why diversify? Well, let's start here. In my growth account, stock account, whatever you want to call it, it's very diversified between a bunch of different sectors. And that has worked out well for my family for a very long time. Why? We got consumer staples, technology, transportation, whatever. And honestly, guys, sometimes when technology sector's down, banks and other sectors are up, and it kind of keeps the overall balance of that particular portfolio at an even keel. And so by me diversifying in my main account has been great. Honestly, I don't care what anybody says. People say, don't diversify this and that. Whatever. It's worked out well for me, and all I can speak on is my experience. However, diversifying in YMAX is a totally different animal. And let's break it down here. When people compare the underlying of, let's say, TSLA with Tesla, so look what the underlying's doing, look what Tesla's doing. People constantly say, hey, they're two different things, they're not growth funds. That's absolutely true. And you know what else is absolutely true? Diversifying with YMAX funds, they're not growth funds. So could that hurt you in the long run? Let's see why. Well, maybe we know this, that eventually cover call funds, especially aggressive ones like YMAX and Defiance and many others, go down over time. It's going to happen. The upside is capped, plus the big dividends you're getting will decrease the share price of whatever cover call fund you have through time. Obviously, depending on what the underlying is doing, it'll make it tank even faster, right? But we know this. They're all going to go down over time. And they will all most likely reverse split over time. That's just it. It's probably what's going to happen. I can't see another way that they don't. So with that being said, if we know they're going to go down over time, and we know they're most likely all going to reverse split and cut your shares in half, and then if they reverse split again a second time, then we got a real issue. But since we know that, why do we think that diversifying is a good plan? So that's kind of what I've been wrestling with as I own some of these funds. So what I've done is I've concentrated my money instead of being really diversified. I know guys that own almost every YMAX fund, every Defiance fund, every this fund, every that fund. And so what I've decided to do is do something different and really laser focus my personal account to like 8. And honestly, that could be too much diversification because I know they'll go down over time, right? So I've decided to laser focus over 8 different high yield funds and put my money there. Now, why did I decide to do that besides the fact of over diversification and knowing that these funds will go down over time? Well, that just laser focusing my money on 8 positions will obviously put all the money into those 8 versus spreading my money apart between like 40 funds, right? That I know will go down over time. So with that being said, I laser focus my money on 8 funds and am trying to generate as much revenue as possible between the 8 to get to my ROI much faster. My voice just cracked like I was 12. Now let's kind of talk about this. And I've been kind of throwing this around in my head. I don't think I'm going to do it. But it's still food for thought, and I still think about it. What about going all in on YMAX? Just not obviously advocating for anyone to do this. This is just discussion purposes. I'm a nobody. I'm not a financial guru. I never show my account. I never do anything like that because I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to push anyone in any general direction. This is just conversation. Like we're sitting around the fire pit out there on the deck, enjoying a couple cold ones and having a conversation. So what about all in on YMAX? I mean, what's the biggest risk? Well, biggest risk number one is the company itself. YMAX. Is something happening with that company? We don't know. Guys love Jay Pestrelli, some don't. Boy's an Italian just like me, and I mess up his name. But hey, JP, some people love him, some people don't, right? I'm in the middle. Whatever. He's doing his job. He's he's a salesman. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing for his company, and he's a trader. So there's that. What if something happened with YMAX? We don't know what's not going to happen, no matter how much you love the guy, right? I mean, there could be, some kind of SEC violation, not necessarily from Jay, but from somebody else that's involved with the company. That's a risk, putting all your money in on one company. I think the second risk is YMAX will probably reverse split at some point. Much as I don't want to say it, probably going to happen. So for me, those are the two biggest risks, but I think YMAX will be one of the slowest to reverse split, just for the fact that they can reallocate their funds and boost up the prices on them based upon how the underlyings are doing. But still, I digress. It's going to reverse split at some time. So those are the two biggest risks. So instead of going all in on YMAX, which if someone did it and that's all they bought and they went in with a ton of money and kept reinvesting dividends, I'd love to see what their account looked like over time. I think it'd be a great case study. I don't know if anyone's crazy enough to do it, or risky enough to do it, whatever. But if you do, shoot, let me know. I'd love to see how that account progresses through time. But what about going heavier in it, which is what I'm doing? YMAX will be is an anchor of my portfolio, and will continue to be. It's my heaviest allotment in my portfolio. And I think the risk of something happening with some SEC regulated thing with YMAX and the eventual, which I think, reverse split of YMAX, that's kind of why I'm diversifying with things like SVOL, FEPI, and SPY-T. Things with, even though SPY-T is Defiance, and it's a little mixed together there with JP and his company, but SVOL and FEPI are not related. So I eliminate that risk with those two. So that's kind of why I'm diversifying with those two funds. But I am going heavier in YMAX than all the others for the reasons I stated. They can move their funds around. Their share price has proven so far through dips and ups that's going to remain relatively stable. Their dividends are nice for the program that they're offering, their methodology, and how they're working these funds. That's my discussion for the day. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave your comments. Let me know what you think about it. Just some ideas I was shooting out and have been thinking about. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper, out.